That's got to be the best pirate I've ever seen. Ahoy mateys, and welcome back to another unboxing, posing review. I have a very exciting one for you today. This is Jack Sparrow. I have been waiting for this one to come in for quite a while now. As you can see, the box is ginormous, so this is gonna be a very interesting one to unbox. But I am so excited to get into it. Definitely let me know in the comments your favorite scene from any of the Pirates movies, especially with Jack Sparrow in it. He's just an awesome character, so let's get into the unboxing. As you all know, every good unboxing must start with the box, and this one is massive. You're definitely going to be seeing the sides of my light box because this box is just, it literally is taking up every single square inch of my light box. Let's just get right into it. We have a very nice looking skull right up here. This is from Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. I know it's not everyone's favorite pirate movie. I am a big fan of that original trilogy myself, but that's the version of the character this is from technically, although Captain Jack doesn't really change his outfit too much. But I do have to say some of the accessories that this comes with actually makes it a little more worth it from being from this movie. But you'll see what I mean once we get a little more into the box. So this is Jack Sparrow, 6 scale collectible figure, DX38. Let's attempt to roll this to the side here. Yeah, so you can see just basically the same words there with a DX logo down near the bottom. Trying to roll it up top here. Yeah, basically the same thing. You can see this nice map detail all around the box though, and that is a very nice touch. I do enjoy that. Rolling along to the back. Yeah, it's just all that regular information and a little cool little Disney sticker. And then rolling to the other side, this is where the magic's gonna happen. Magic as in, I don't know how I'm gonna do this on camera. This is the part of the box that we slide out, and you can tell it's already a different color than the outer box. So let's see how I'm gonna do this. So I'm gonna pull this way, I suppose. Actually, let me rotate it around, try to slide it this way. Let's see. Hopefully you get some enjoyment out of watching me struggle here. Okay. Yeah, I'm about to ram the camera. Yeah, give me a second. Okay, I did it. That box is a beast. I didn't want to ram the camera, have it fall on the floor, get all dramatic or anything, so yeah, had to take it off camera there for a second. But you can see this nice image of the figure right here. That looks very good. I'll give you a close-up touch of the words so you can pause and read it here in a sec, but let's look at this box. On the side, another nice looking pirate skull logo with a little sparrow at the bottom and another skull and crossbones. Doesn't look like we have anything on the top or the bottom. So let me get this out for you so you can take in all that beautiful figure gloriness in those photos. This is gonna be a fun one. I've been excited for this figure for a while. I wasn't fortunate enough to get the Artisan Edition as of now, but if I ever come off the wait list, yeah, definitely gonna be buying that. So since this is a DX, I will actually read this one. This says, Hot Toys' unparalleled standards of craftsmanship are on full display. Feel the wind in your sails as you embark on new quests for treasure and glory in the company of the 6 scale collectible figure of Captain Jack Sparrow. And yeah, I'm gonna put a lot of wind in my sails. Let's move this out of the way. Let's see if we can get to that figure. See what we gotta do here. You see there's actually some more words here. It says, okay, please read user guide first and follow construction details during the assembly process. All right, well, I will do just that, I guess. Well, I was hoping it'd be a little more exciting, but we'll just pluck that out. Yeah, let me figure out how to get to this figure. DX boxes are always so nice and always a little complicated. Let me see if I can slide out this cover here, which has a nice little compass. Of course, you know, Jack has his signature compass in basically every movie. And nice little detail right here, genuine leather belts and boots. That is exciting, which means that your figure is gonna be lasting for quite a while because I don't know when they're gonna give us another Jack Sparrow, or honestly, I wish they would give us more Pirates characters. I do have that third-party Barbossa on pre-order, so definitely keep an eye on the channel for that whenever it drops. But having genuine leather is definitely a big plus. I know the Indiana Jones that have come in also has that, so those are definitely some figures I'm gonna have in my collection for quite a while. Let's rotate this. And that is very interesting. You can already kind of see through the box here. That's very neat. Let's rotate them around to where the figure is. I can yoink them out. Let's remove, okay, that plastic's wrapped around him, so let's go ahead and, ooh, his head's moving a little. Okay, plastic wants to come off his head already. Ooh, very careful. Okay, he ejected the plastic from his head. Wow, this is beautiful. That is definitely Johnny Depp right there. Wow, yeah, and it has some, not rooted hair, it's not artisan or anything, but it has some little yarn, I guess they call it rooted hair in there. A little bit of that kind of hair texture, but all the dreads and stuff are plastic, because that artisan one has fully rooted dreads, and yeah, looks glorious. But yeah, just taking them out of the box, this looks so good. This is a beautiful, beautiful figure. For now, let me set them back in the box. Yes, I know, I'll get you back out here soon, but let's finish the unboxing. Let's try to pull this foam piece out. There we go. Yes, there he is in his little foam coffin. And now we have a million different accessories. That's an over-exaggeration, so don't quote me on that. Right here, we have a bunch of different hands. You can see that swap out faceplate and his hat. Oh, my personal favorite, the instruction sheet, which actually has some batteries. Interesting. I think those are for the lantern, but yeah, we'll check that out when we get there. Now let's do our best to pull out this ginormous piece here. Can I pull it like this? Hopefully it doesn't go falling. Okay, yep, I got it. Nothing else in the box. So I'm gonna change up my typical formula and actually try to take these apart a little bit to show you everything in its packaging. All right, so I pulled this first piece off so you can see everything lined up in there. These all look very, very magnificent. Excited to lay them out, test them out, pose them with them. And now let's get to that diorama base. I am so excited. This base looks so good in all the photos. Yes, there's that giant wheel. Oh, amazing, looks so beautiful. It rolls. Yeah, can't spoil the accessory section, but just know that looks good. And what's funny is this actually smells. Did any of you have that Pirates of the Caribbean Yahtzee, or no, what was it? It was Deadman's Dice. I can't remember the name. Tell me in the comments. But have you ever had that game where it's like you roll your dice and then you like bluff, you flip them, you bluff and stuff, and then whoever bluffs better, I guess, wins. Yeah, I remember having that dice game with my family and stuff, and that game was so much fun when I was younger. This smells exactly like that, so that was a big whiff of nostalgia for me. I just had to talk about that real quick. Hopefully some of you out there know which game I'm talking about. And yeah, that, so nice. Now let's grab this little accessory thing here. Okay, well, pulled the cover off, I guess. So that was a cover. There's some little things in there. Looks like the peg, stuff like that. But let's pull this base out. All right, there we go. Yeah, that's a nice looking base. I am very excited. I'm really hoping this fits in my display where I'm hoping it does. If you watched my collection tour, I had some little smaller shells for individual figures, and I'm really hoping this fits in there. But for now, I'm gonna unpack every accessory, lay them all out nicely for you all, and get into the accessories overview. Since this is one of Hot Toys' glorious DX figures, he comes with a ton. One thing that I actually love about DX figures is that a lot of the times you can actually put most of the accessories either on the base or on the figure itself. And Jack Sparrow is no exception. I'll go through it as we go through all these different accessories, but a lot of these actually just slot right onto the figure or have a little spot on the base. But up first, let's grab the potentially boring accessories. We have this rod here. This is for the crotch grabber, which this one's actually a sort of hook type crotch grabber. So it just kind of hooks them down there, as you can see. For this style, you do have to loosen it up a little bit. I can't get it on there yet without maybe breaking it. So my all-time favorite accessory actually comes with this figure, a baby screwdriver. This is amazing. This right here makes the price of the figure worth it, 100%. And no, I'm just kidding, but I'm so glad they include it, so I don't have to bust out my tools or anything. So you can just loosen up the little crotch grabber, and then if it doesn't fall off, just slide it on down as so. Seems like it needs to pop past that part, and then it just slides nice and easily. If there's a position you want, you can retighten it. For now, I'm gonna leave it a little loose. Up next, let's just look at some other little things he comes with. We have some tweezers, which is nice. You can adjust the figure's clothing or whatever you need to with these. And then there's this little tool. It reminds me of those Lego tools you basically get with every figure. Oh, with rolling eyeball figures, I should say. This is a tool to assist when moving the eyeballs or other little things on the figure. And then, of course, the wrist pegs. I better not break his wrist, but they're included. And I'm glad we get this, but I actually kind of hate these. These little replacement buttons, if a little button falls off on them, then you have to glue them back on. I don't really like these because it's a bit risky, and these pieces should be kind of like better attached on the figure in my opinion, but at least you get them if it's something that you really need. Now let's get a little handsy with the figure and grab his hands. You get 10 hands in total with this figure, a lot of matching pairs, and then 2 more unique ones for each side. Then of course the figure has 2 pre-installed, which these ones look like they're actually his sword holding hands. These hands are very nicely detailed, and they vary quite a bit. So let's start off with the left hand here. So if you can read that there, you can see it says Jack, sort of. It's when he misspelled his name. Yeah, getting a little closer, you can see it's Jakc. Yeah, that's not how you spell Jack, but I guess he tried his best. And these are very nicely detailed. You can see some veins in there, nice skin texture. You can feel the little ruffly bits for the fingers, wrinkly bits. Yeah, whatever they are, you know, that part of your finger. And the palms are nicely detailed. Like these are some of the best hands I've seen. And of course he has this little kind of turquoise and gold ring right on his hand there, or not hand, his thumb. Yep, little thumb ring. This right hand is also very beautiful. You can see he spelled his name right on this one, Jack, so good job for that, Jack. And this hand has an actual fabric piece on it. So all the hands for the right one actually have this fabric piece. It's very nice, as you can see. They all just include this little individual piece. You can see he has his tattoo under, and then as you know from the movie, he has that kind of little curse on his hand. So that's why he wears this little fabric piece. So I do really like that touch. And these are also very nicely detailed with 2 different rings. You can see that little gold skull there, another kind of silver and turquoise piece. You can see the paint applications a little bit. They got a little messy and it got a little bit on the hands, which stinks a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be a huge issue because yeah, these hands are glorious. We already looked at the pair of hands on the figure, but let's check out these matching pairs. You have 2 kind of open palm hands, like he's slapping someone, or probably just kind of doing his little sassy Jack Sparrow stuff, you know? Then he comes with these 2 pistol gripping hands. They look pretty identical, except all the extra accessories on that right one. Then there's 2 kind of pointing hands. He's pointing a lot more with this left hand here. And then if I would stop dropping things, this right one's a little more kind of, the fingers are curled in, as you can see. So I don't know if he's supposed to be holding something with that one, but we'll get into it once we start posing. And last, he has these kind of more unique hands. I believe this right one is for holding the little telescope, I want to say, or I guess maybe, you know, doesn't come with a teacup, but if you have a 1/6 scale teacup, you could be drinking some tea. And this left one is like, yeah, rock on. That's a Johnny Silverhand hand right there. But nah, it's probably just him kind of doing some funky hand thing there. Now let's take a little peek at all his little attachable pieces that kind of go on his belt. I will be putting these on the figure once we get to the figure overview, but for now we'll just take a look at them. Up first is an artisan shrunken head. Look at that. It has that real hair in there, all nicely put together. And yeah, nah, it's not really artisan, but it's actually really nice to include real hair on this. It's kind of like the hair that's on the figure, which we'll take a closer look at in a bit in the next section. But this little face is kind of funny looking, and yeah, it's gonna go nicely on the figure. You see there's actually some little like gold coins on a string as well. So these are gonna be interesting putting on. I'll put them on in the figure overview, kind of do a little montage there. And up next we have a little monkey paw. This monkey paw is pretty cool. It's kind of a little dried out as expected, but yeah, it's like Jack's little lucky charm there, I suppose. Then there's another little hair piece. You'll have to remind me what this is. I know it obviously goes on his belt, but I cannot remember what this is exactly. This next little piece is a little cool. It's like rock or bone or something just on there. And then, yeah, it's really hard to see. I'm trying to get these close because they're so small, but a little like gold nugget, maybe it's probably too big to be a gold tooth, but yeah, that looks pretty good. And then this one, I could go on his belt, but this is kind of a little necessary accessory for him, the compass. This is the compass that always leads you to what your heart most desires. This is very nicely detailed. Even the front little piece there, you actually flip up. Hopefully it doesn't break or something. Yeah, you flip that up and then you can actually open it. Inside, we have a bit of gold speckling right up top there. And then you can actually see the compass and where it's pointing. I don't know where it's pointing, but something, I guess, over there is what my heart most desires. Yeah, this next piece isn't really an accessory per se, but it's his swap out head sculpt. It attaches the little top hair piece with the bandana and stuff attaches with a magnet on top. And each piece comes with a little ball peg, so you can just plug it right in. And then what's actually really nice is both of these head sculpts come with rolling eyeballs. So I haven't had a figure that had this yet, but both you get kind of 2 rolling eyeball sets on each head sculpt. So that's actually very nice. I'll swap them out in the figure overview section, but we'll just take a look at it for now. Then his pirate hat is pretty cool. It's not sculpted plastic. It's kind of feels like leather. I don't know if it's exactly leather. We'll try it out on the figure once we get to that section. But this is very nice. It's a little reflective in the light, as you can see, and it feels kind of like leather. It did say there's genuine leather here, so I don't know if the hat is or which parts are exactly, but I'm just gonna hope for the best because Jack needs his hat. I believe, did they call this a telescope, something like that? Because yeah, you can't fold it. You can't fold the 6 scale version in, but usually it folds in, they can fold out. It's actually pretty neat. So as a little piece here, you can see it has black for the little kind of grip, and then there's a lot of dirt and grime all along the gold accents there, and a bit of dirt right on the end. Pretty black up there. Then this has to be my favorite accessory, the little ship in the bottle. This bottle is so nice looking. It's transparent, not super transparent. You can definitely see through it there. But I say not super transparent because look how dirty that is. That looks so nice. I really like this. You can see the little cap for the bottle, and then the seam line isn't a huge deal in my opinion. You can of course feel it. They had to get the ship in there somehow. But yeah, just look at that. You can see the little black pearl in there, and it's trapped in there, but it's looking good. Even that little bit of wave underneath. Yeah, this is definitely my favorite accessory. Probably have Jack holding it, or yeah, it's going somewhere in my display. Now let's grab his little chest of gold here. This looks nice. So you can see it's a bit reflective in the light, like it's all wet or something, because it actually has a spot on the base for it to go. So that wood detail and then the metal surrounding it, that looks nice. It seems, because it's a little glossy, it's a little, not low res, but do you know what I mean? When something's a little muddy looking, but that's just their intentional details, so we'll let it slide. In here, you can see all that gold. That gold looks nice. It's all that cursed treasure, I'm guessing, from the first movie. That's what it looks like. Let's see how close I can get this. Yeah, without the light blowing out too much, but you can see like right there, that's a cursed little pirate medallion. This looks very good. You see the Aztec symbols? Yeah, this is, beautiful. Now we have this little lantern. This lantern is another awesome piece. It's a bit kind of orange transparent. You can see through it there if the light catches it right. Yeah, it is very dirty looking. You have this handle. It doesn't articulate, so don't try to bend it, or at least I can't find a way to articulate it, so don't break yours trying to prove me wrong, please. But this piece is nice. It actually lights up, and since we get an included screwdriver, I can take that off and put the batteries in there. Yeah, so I did get the batteries in there. I will warn you, be a little careful when doing that, because it looks like this screw is sort of like a tap tight, because it just went into where the plastic is, and yeah, you probably don't want to unscrew and rescrew it too much. You might ruin the threads, and then you might be out of luck. So yeah, be careful with that, but this looks good. I will dim the lights here in a second, but you can see the little light in there, making it glow all orange. Now let's see how it looks as I dim the lights. Oh yeah, that looks good. Looks very good with the lights at that level. Yeah, this makes the transparent, dirty sections on the outside look so good. This is gonna look really nice in his hand. Yeah, I'm just admiring this. This is a beautiful little light up piece. Yeah, even look at that. It like lights up on my hand because the little metal sections. Wow. Yeah, I'm impressed. This looks very good. And I'm so glad they went with orange, so it's like a little flame in there. Yeah, Hot Toys, yeah, great job. Now to get to some weaponry. Jack has little dual pistols here if I don't knock everything over getting to them. This left one's a little bit more black with like the black handle, and the right one's a little bit more wood textured. So let's look at this left one first. You can see all that detail in there. That handle is nice. Look at the way it reflects the light. It's like a really nice wood texture. Actually, it could even be like a black pearl or black. Yeah, I didn't mean pearl there like the ship, but I don't know if the light can catch it, but it actually seems like it's semi-transparent. Yeah, I don't know what material that is like in the movie, but yeah, it looks really good. And it's very dirty. These don't articulate, or at least unless you really want to break it off, but it's kind of funny. It looks like there's a little dude up there. I don't know if that's supposed to be like a chair, but it's like a little dude, so when it fires off, I guess he's igniting it. So that looks pretty cool. Then there's a bunch of dirt along the barrel. It's a very dirty piece. And the wood one looks very nice as well. You can see that wood detail in there. There's not a lot of wood grain texture, like it's not really made to look like wood. It's pretty smooth, which I do kind of like. But again, unless, I don't know if this is intentional or if it's just part of the design, but it looks like there's that little dude again, just igniting it when he shoots. Maybe it's part of his design. Yeah, I don't know. Just looks really cool. And once again, a bunch of dirt along the barrel. This nice little, not leaf, but cool little detail there. Trigger, yeah, this might be my favorite of the two, but looking at them together, if they would focus, yeah, tell me in the comments which one you prefer. I might be leaning a little bit more towards the wood kind of brown one, but this one's also very nice. Let's go ahead now and actually grab his sword. His sword comes in the sheath right here. The sheath isn't really weathered or anything. It's just kind of a flat black color. And then same with his handle. The handle is not really weathered too much. I mean, I guess there's a little bit if I don't bump the camera. And the metal there. Can't really feel it. It's more just like paint detail. But let's go ahead and unsheath his sword in a very blurry fashion. Like my last video, it's probably that face messing me up on the focusing. So you know what? Took care of that problem. He is gone. This sword looks good. Look at that kind of detail along the blade there. You can see all the weathering along the blade, and it's very reflective. You can see that in the light. This is not die cast, which is actually a little unfortunate, but it's not the biggest deal to me. It's a little more flexible and probably increases the figure's longevity because we won't have to worry about him drooping down after holding the sword for a while or anything like that. But there are people out there who are diehard fans of die-cast components, so I do have to mention it. And personally, I do kind of wish it was a little more premium in the sense of where it just was metal, or at least like a lightweight material like that. So we can still pose it without too much worry, but also it's premium. Another nice little piece like this sword is his dagger. Once again, not much weathering, but you can see it looks like it has a leather detail, and you can actually feel it on there, on the actual sheath. This one's a bit more plain, but at least this one kind of has that. So yeah, this one looks good. I love the little kind of ball shape here on the handle, and then two little like T-shaped for, I think it's called the handle guard, and then the actual handle is pretty nicely detailed. Hopefully you can see all that. Let's unsheath this, and yeah, that's a dirty blade. Same with the other one about the die cast and stuff, but this looks good. I'm glad they could add all this weathering, and it's gonna look really good in the display. I don't know if I'll have him pose with this, but of course it has to come with it because it's on his outfit, and that is actually what I love about DX. You just get absolutely everything with these figures. Now for kind of the main event, depends on how you feel about it. The base is glorious. We already kind of took a look at it, but this is nice. Hopefully I can hold it in a way where it's gonna be fully, or at least mostly on camera, so probably a little zoomed in, but trying my best here. Yeah, you can see all this wood detail. It's all plastic. It's pretty hefty though, which is really nice, but it has like a little bit of water detail because of course it's like a broken piece of a ship in the water. And you see all that wood, it's like part of it's kind of burnt. There's these little sculpted pieces of rope all along it. And yeah, this is beautiful. You can see back here the hole for the crotch grabber, which actually, you know what? I'll put it in at the end because I don't want to hit the camera with it multiple times. So I know you all love when I put the crotch grabber in, but we'll do that after we take a look at this. So don't go commenting, complain about it not being earlier in the accessories overview, but it's coming. I got you covered. These broken pieces of wood look very nice around the actual sculpt there. And yeah, there's even a little bit of green, like algae and stuff. Yeah, this base is beautiful. And I haven't even really talked about it yet, but it says Jack Sparrow right there, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Yeah, this is a beautiful base. And I don't know if you've caught it yet, but the actual waves are pretty translucent. So you can kind of see the movement behind my hand. They're a very nice light blue. The light's blown them out a little bit, but yeah, that's good looking. Yeah, on the bottom, you can actually see how it's all very transparent. This is a beautiful DX base. And now for all you out there who love it, let's go ahead and slot this in. Bit of a rotary one this time. You're not going to see me struggle, so I appreciate that about it. And yep, we're about there. There we go. That's pretty tight in there. And yeah, so now you have the crotch grabber in there. A little bit of a rhino horn style, which I guess now I'll be calling it, but yeah, looks good. Now let's grab this wheel. This wheel, okay, probably shouldn't have grabbed it like that because it's a little, yeah, you can hear that a little more fragile down there. This wheel is beautiful. It looks pretty big in comparison to the actual base. I mean, you're angled, so you can't tell too well, but yeah, this is a giant wheel. I know the older versions of this figure came with different accessories like a shark, stuff like that, but I am really glad I have this version. This wheel is also like wood texture. You can really feel it, and you can feel all that kind of weathering in there, like coral or just burnt pieces. Yeah, it's very nice. As you can see, it also rotates, which is very cool. Flipping it over, you can see there's actual like real rope in there. That's like actual little pieces of rope. Then the handles look nice, and yeah, I love this piece. It's gonna look very nice on the base. Speaking of which, I didn't mention it, but you can see the slots for it actually on the base now. Now that I mentioned it, I actually can't unsee them. Luckily, if you don't want to display it, you can't see them as much because it kind of blends in pretty well. But personally, I feel like you should display it this way, so yeah, that wheel, okay. Can't hold that at an angle too much, or else it's definitely gonna fall, but yeah, slots in there pretty nicely. But now I'm excited to do a sort of little montage and get the figure all geared up with all his different accessories. Please tell me that montage looked cool. I'm not even asking, I'm begging, because that was so tedious. If it ends up looking cool when I'm editing the clips together, then I guess it's worth it, but man, that was tedious. All these little pieces are on strings. You have to like wrap them around with those little tweezers and then pull them, and oh yeah, that was tough. I was hoping it'd be a little easier, and I made a little bit of adjustments, but yeah, those pieces were very challenging to get in. And I messed up the hair a little. It's kind of coming apart. I guess it makes sense. It'll look a little messy on a pirate, but yeah, it's a little unfortunate already coming apart. But luckily the shrunken head is still intact. Yeah, you can see it has all these pieces hanging off him now. Over here, the little bone, and then monkey hand is somewhere. Monkey paw, I should say. Yeah, there it is. Then yeah, these pieces you had to put a little bit under here. These pistols, I was worried because this little very nice looking snakeskin belt here, you have to tuck them under. And yeah, just stuffing those in there is a bit worrisome. Then the dagger, I just kind of like stuffed that way down there. So hopefully that is correct. And then the sword, yeah, I got that one right. So at least I know I got one right. But now let's take a closer look at the figure. I'm going to start out by looking at all the details on him. Then we'll put the actual swap out pieces like the head, and then take the jacket off, do stuff like that. So let's actually start with the head. I have him currently looking off to the side a little bit. It looks very good though. I do love the way his head sculpt looks. I can definitely see Johnny Depp in there. And these dreads are very nice. They're like a really bendable plastic, I guess if that's the right word for it. They feel very nice. Feels like dreads, looks very good. And you see there's all these little beads. There's even these real hair pieces. Well, kind of real. Even if these fray over time, it'll be a little unfortunate, but I feel like that's okay because he's a pirate. He's not going to look pristine all the time. And then along the back, you can see has all his dreads together, this little bandana. It's not real fabric on here. It's just like some plastic, but at least it moves. Then you can see here, I'm not sure which type of bird that is. Maybe a sparrow just up in his hair, little skull. Then yeah, his longest piece just goes all the way down to there. To remove the head, what I'd recommend is just popping his little top piece off first. It's held on by a magnet. Then you can set that down and just pop his head off. It's just in there with one little ball peg. Then you have his second head sculpt. This one's a little more serious. This one's a little bit more smirky. If you want to adjust the eyes, you just gotta get your little tool. You can see those little pegs in there. Just fit this in there. Yeah, now you can see. Yeah, there we go. Sometimes at first they're a little stuck, but once you move it, yeah, kind of unsticks. So let's see what I can do real quick. Let's have them looking up to kind of that direction-ish. So let's move the other eye now. Doing this all through camera, so if it ends up looking funky, then yeah, I'm gonna just blame the camera. And yeah, so I kind of did it. Looks like he's looking up that way. Maybe it's a little off, but we'll let it slide for now. These, I guess we'll call them face plates. They're very nicely detailed. I love the little bit of beard right there. You see little beads in it, and it's kind of a bit maneuverable. Then you can see all the lines in the face for the smirk, his little scar up there. Just, yeah, you can feel that texture they put in it, all that skin work. The little beard is nice too. That Barbosa that's coming up by a third party has a rooted beard, so I'm interested to see how that's going to work out. But this head sculpt is nice. I'll have to fix the eyes once we get to the posing section, but just to give you an idea how they work, just, yeah, that's what we're going to rock for now. Then what I'd recommend is popping this piece on first. Nice and easy. Then you can go ahead and grab his hair piece. You might not want to do this through a camera how I'm doing it. so you can make sure all the hair is aligned, nothing gets stuck. You just want to maneuver the hair in front of his jacket, along the sides, along the back. Make sure nothing's getting in the way, or else you might run into a little bit of difficulty. I don't have it on yet, but you can see it's, yeah, there we go. Now it's on there, nicely magnetic. It does make sense that they didn't give us 2 full pieces like this, because this is probably a lot of work, especially for the artisan one, which the artisan is probably why they only give us face swap out pieces. But this one looks good. I like that little smirk he's got going on, even if his eyes aren't perfectly aligned. Now let's actually try to remove the jacket. For the jacket, you're once again gonna have to remove the head sculpt. So actually real quick, let's just try out the hat. So while we're at it, hopefully I'm angling the hat the right way. This just sits right up top very nicely. It's not the most secure connection. Hopefully I'm putting out the right angle. That looks right to me. It's nice to have him. I don't know if I'm gonna display him with it. If I'm having him hold the wheel, probably. You're definitely gonna see me pose him with it. But yeah, the hat's just a necessary inclusion. It looks a little big, a little funky, but it's gonna do what you want. So he is now headless again. One thing I did want to show you though. So when I was talking about being a little careful with the hair, it has that slight rooted hair, so it's a little more, you just have to be a little more cautious. So that hair, it got under the dreads for me. And yeah, you can see it's kind of fraying out. Hopefully, yeah, didn't have that on camera too well, but yeah, you can see it's fraying out a little bit. Not ideal, but it's gonna be okay. You can always buy stuff to fix up the hair if you want, but for me, I think that's gonna be okay. It's a pirate, so yeah. And yeah, maybe I'm coping a little bit. We'll have to see, because I don't know who kind of ironed his hair to have this perfect curl in it, but yeah, it's gonna be okay. I'm coping a little. Just telling myself it's gonna be okay. So now, what you wanna do to get the jacket off. I have his sword seal in the holster, which I'm assuming is okay. If it's not, then I guess we're gonna find out right now. You do need to lift up this magnetic piece, and then that allows you to take this whole thing off. And yeah, nice and easy. Then what you need to do is move his arms up and kind of rotate them back a little, kind of like that. And then that allows you to slide the jacket off. And yeah, so I rotate his arms a little bit more just so it's a little easier, just so you know what you need to do. Let's slide that off here. Yeah, there we go. This jacket, yeah, I actually really like it. Oh, if I don't drop it. Yeah, that's a nice looking jacket. Now you can see you have your headless Jack Sparrow without a jacket. And these arms are very nice, very poofy. It's a pirate shirt, so makes sense. I need to fix his arms right now. They're kind of in that awkward position. But yeah, you can spread this out, make it look nice and poofy, however you want. I just readjust his arms back to where I think they should be. Looks decent now. This one looks like it's poking out a little, but we'll let it slide. I do want to show you, you can see his wrist pegs more, but he actually has these little like bracelets. Not really bracelets, but these little wraps that you can slide down. They're a little tight, but you can slide down, put them in the wrist peg there. Just be careful when you swap out the hands that they don't come off, because you don't want to lose or damage them. But yeah, just holding them by the arm. Yeah, you can move them down a little. Definitely when you go to take the wrist peg off, I'd recommend sliding it back up. But it's a nice little cover-up piece. And on the other side as well, you actually have a nice little black one. This one slides a lot easier, so you can slide it down, slide up, make sure it doesn't fall off, change your hand out, and then slide it back down. Now let's see what we can take a peek at. We can slide his arms up. Yeah, you can see the joints in there, but if they're up a little, you can actually see they put a lot of work into putting veins and actual skin texture in there. So you don't have to worry too much if his forearms are showing, but there's no seamless forearms, so definitely make use of these little bracelets whenever you can. Then his chest, you can see if the chest is a little open, there's some muscle detail, but not too much, and you can't really open it too much, so you can't see like his full chest or anything like that. Yeah, as you already know, I'm sure this is probably a pretty long video. I am very impressed with this Jack Sparrow figure. This, I know I just recently made that video about the Cherry Blossom Stormtrooper, called it my new grail, but this piece is awesome. Got me bumping the camera and everything. Yeah, this Jack Sparrow looks very, very good. I really like it. Yeah, I want to do the posing section now. I'm going to cheat a little and do the poses without the jacket. And actually, I should mention, you can put his compass on his belt as well. You can see that string. I didn't because I want to pose him with it. The other ones are always going to be on his belt. This one's not, so it's up to you if you want to attach it to his belt. But just keep in mind, if you do put on his belt, it might be a little difficult to take off considering how difficult it was to put on. Yes, I know I mentioned I was going to do the posing section now, but I had to bring out the base just to talk about real quick. So as you know, you slot the wheel in, but I do notice it's a little unstable. If you can see there, mine, it might just be on mine. I don't know how yours is going to look, but it kind of wobbles a little. So I wanted to point it out so you're being a little extra careful with it, so you're not going to damage or do anything, because once it wobbles like that, this back piece comes out of the slots and you have to like put it back. So I just wanted to note it so you're a little more careful, because when I was trying to pose with it, I just noticed it like to do that. I wish it slotted in a little more secure, but it's gonna, it's fine. Not the end of the world, but I guess while we're here, I can show you where these two pieces go on the base, because in the instruction it actually notes where these should go. If the base is facing this way, it shows this just kind of, I guess, sits right there. Yeah, you can move it wherever you want, but that's just kind of what the instruction shows. And then this, it shows kind of back here-ish. Yeah, so of course put these wherever you want. You can angle them, knock that off, do whatever you want with these pieces. But I just wanted to note where the instruction says to put them, but then there's not a lot of room on the base for, it's gonna keep falling, for jack. I don't know if I put everything in correctly, exactly, just like placing these wise, but I did just want to mention that so you know you might have to move some stuff. I'm glad the wheel can be removed in case you want to get that out of the way, do some other stuff. But yeah, just wanted to bring up the base again because I noticed that little issue, and then there's not a lot of posing room when you actually put the stuff on it. But yeah, let's get Jack out here. So we have Jack standing here in his first pose. I'm going to be honest here. I think I'm going to be using the base for almost all these poses. That base is awesome. Might be a little too tall now that I'm looking at it in the display area I want to put him. So I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, that display is so nice looking. As you can see, I did take that wheel off. I wanted to give Jack the full area to stand and just kind of have him with his shirt, well, not his shirt off, with his jacket off, and just kind of standing there holding his sword with that little smirking head sculpt. He looks very good. He's up on his old treasure chest and just, he's of course using the crotch grabber to stabilize himself, but I do really like this pose. Just a little nice one. As you all know, I like to try to use every accessory in the posing section to kind of show off how you can display them with everything. So this might be a decently long section, especially jacket on, jacket off, stuff like that. The first section is going to be jacket off, because once I put it back on, honestly, I don't really want to take it back off. I think I'll be displaying him with it anyway, although he actually looks very nice. All that weathering makes his arms look a little yellow, and that outfit right there looks really good. I will probably be swapping the head here and there for this one when I want him to look a little more serious, like he's actually fighting someone, something like that. Yeah, I keep talking about it, but that Barbosa third party, I do have him on pre-order, and I'm really looking forward to that coming in so I can have him fighting Jack, do some little comparisons, just have them like pose together. Especially with that base, they can be like fighting over the wheel, they can be just like arguing, they can be standing there, and Jack can be fighting Jack, you know, the monkey. Yeah, I let him spin around this pose long enough. This is going to be a really fun section. This is a really fun figure to pose, and I can already tell. Just real quick, the articulation is amazing, especially with that jacket off. So if you're gonna go jacket off, that sounds a little awkward, but yeah, if you're gonna have Jack be jacket off in your collection, then you're gonna have a lot of room for articulation. Real quick, I had to get the light stem low, so I wanted to show you how he looks holding the lantern. He looks very nice holding the lantern and has a very nice silhouette, so yeah, he looks very good with the lantern on. It looks better in person, admittedly. Looking through the camera right now, it doesn't look crazy good, but in person, it looks awesome. Now I got the lights turned back up so you can actually see the pose I was going for. Yeah, with the lights in the light box on, you can't really tell that the lantern's on. You kind of see it glowing there. You can see a little orange dot, but yeah, can't really see it too well. That is to be expected though. You can't expect a tiny little light like that to outweigh a light box. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Yeah, I did want to put him in a more angry pose now, so I swapped out the head sculpts, had him aiming his pistol. Like I said, I'm going to be trying to use every accessory. So I made use of one pistol, but will be using the other. I do need to figure out what to use with that dagger. Maybe I could use, because I think it's supposed to be like a parrying dagger. They used them to parry back when they were doing the fencing type of combat. But I just don't remember them using it much in the movies. So it's nice it's there. It looks good on his outfit, but it's not too practical in my opinion. It's definitely just going to be sitting there once I get him in the display. But yes, when the jacket's off, that's when I'm putting him in the action poses. So of course he can be more actiony when he has the jacket on, but I feel like he wouldn't be wearing it when he's doing more sword combat, shooting, doing some crazy stuff like that. So now let's get him in another actiony pose. Maybe, yeah, let's incorporate the wheel. So real quick, while I was working on getting him in another pose, I just wanted to show you, they don't really give us a hand that holds the dagger. So it might be a bit of like a cop-out or something, but I'm not gonna pose him with it. I can't think of anything that looks good, and it doesn't really fit in the hand. It just, yeah, you can see that you can't really fit it too well. He does hold it, but yeah, nah, the dagger's not gonna be for me. It's gonna look nice on him, but definitely not gonna be used. I guess I'm just finding all the things where I'm trying to do this next pose. The unfortunate thing about this base is since it's angled like that, you have to have his leg up most of the time. And I noticed when you do that, his pants like to ride up, and you can actually see, yeah, you can actually see the joint in there. I'm of course you can move it around to fix that, but having his leg up like that, it just, yeah, it's gonna easily expose that. So that's a little bit of a downside. Yes, this is a review, so I do love this figure, and I have to point out the little flaws when I do find them though. All right, so I finally got him in the pose I was working on when I kept noticing those little flaws. I do like this pose. I gave him his pistol so he can dual wield. But yeah, you can see that his leg, the one that I pointed out on, you can see some skin poking out. I rotated the pant leg a bit so you can kind of hide it, but definitely know that you might see some legs because this base, like I said, forces you to lift his leg if you want him kind of standing upright. So that's a little unfortunate, especially since the joint is right where that pants cutout kind of is. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I want to make sure to call out all the little things I find, but doesn't detract from the figure too much. I still find that this figure looks amazing, like all that detail in the outfit. One thing, the coat will kind of hide that, so it might be a little bit of an oversight on Hot Toys' part. Not really sure exactly. I'm just kind of spitballing here, but yeah. So for this pose, I guess I'll go into a little bit more detail now. Like I said, I wanted to use the actual wheel because pretty soon I'm going to put his jacket back on. This outfit without the jacket though looks really cool. He did look like this quite a bit in the movie if I'm remembering correctly. So I'm going to do one more pose, I'm thinking, without the jacket. Yeah, I'm, I guess, giggling a little because I'm thinking about it. Do you remember the scene where he was kind of running from all the island natives? And here it is, sort of. He doesn't really have the right facial expression for that scene where he's kind of running away. I don't think people are really going to display him that way, but I thought of it and I had to try it out without the base, because yeah, for this one I went without the base to kind of show how he stands. I don't know if you can tell, but his left leg, but our right side, that foot is slightly off the ground and he's still pretty stable. So I do have to say this figure is very stable. He has a goofy kind of eye position for this one. Try to make him look a little terrified, but I gave him back the smirking head sculpt because I don't think he would be too stoic looking running from all the natives. But either way, just a goofy little pose to wrap up his, not shirtless, I keep wanting to say shirtless, his non-jacket look. So now I want to get his jacket back on and then we'll be posing with the rest of the accessories here. Yeah, so while I was trying to get the jacket back on, another thing happened. You remember that little piece I was telling you about that can slide off easily? Yeah, it did. So let me show you real quick how you actually can get that back on. This is a little challenging on camera, but what you want to do is get it on like that. And then you could take, I guess like this end, just don't pull it too hard. You want to twist it and then get the middle. So see how it's like kind of twisted and a little open there? Get that back into the front of the peg. So I actually bent my peg downwards, as you can see. And then work it up carefully. And then you can see it's now back on tight. What you probably want to do is take it and then twist it a bit to work it up his arm some more. Then once you've worked it, you can see it's up his arm a little bit more. Yeah, just be careful because mine did come off. And since it happened to me, I'm sure it probably happened to one of you out there. So I just want to show you and just to, yeah, help out a little bit. So another, I guess I'll call it pro tip now for getting the jacket back on. Trying to do it regularly actually pulled up the shirt and it got a little bunched up. So if you do it careful when his hands are off, you can actually wrap the shirt a little around his pegs on each side. Don't pull hard, don't do anything like that, or you might rip the shirt. But if you do that, when you slide the jacket up, it'll actually stay, and then you just, yeah, maneuver it, and then your shirt's good. And then of course, just adjust to your preference. Yeah, so Jack is a bit disappointed at the state he just found his ship in. Stuck in that bottle, and at the moment, he has no clue how he's gonna get it back. I do actually like how the hat looks on this figure. It looks pretty cool. I know it's all sculpted, not artisan for all that, but yeah, I actually kind of like it. I once again put that gorgeous wheel to use, and now Captain Jack is looking for something with his little telescope there. I don't know what he's looking for. Hopefully some treasure, something cool, but I will be using the compass in the next pose, so that's probably gonna help him find whatever he's looking for. This is the way I'm going to display my figure. I managed to put basically all the little accessories somewhere on the stand, from the little boat in the bottle to the little lamp. I know he's not really in an action pose, but Jack, he of course gets into some fights and stuff, but I feel like he's more a character you want looking a little goofy, but also pretty cool. So I have him here giving a little salute there with his hat. And then he's using his compass to kind of navigate the ship. I have kind of the little ship peg, arm. Yeah, I'm not sure what you call them, but the little things along the ship wheel. But the little things along the ship wheel is kind of notched into his elbow. So he's kind of holding on to it while looking at his compass and saluting. And then the wind's kind of taking his coat away. Yeah, I love this pose. The other little detail I added is just that the chest is sort of falling off the stand. So it's like he's catching it with his foot before it just goes into the water. Yeah, let's get my final thoughts now, and we'll let this glorious pose. I know I did the pose, so I'm biased, but I believe it's glorious. I'm gonna let this glorious pose just kind of go around there. I absolutely love this figure. I point out some flaws, some annoyances. There is a lot of small pieces on him, and there's a lot of manual work you have to do to get him looking good. But when it comes to stuff they give you, like the accessories, the base, yeah, this is a good figure. The lightness is on point. The expressions are perfect. The fact that they actually give us real leather for most of the components, so the longevity of this figure is increased, is fantastic. Everything about this figure I absolutely love. You can get them in goofy poses, more stoic poses, fighting poses, action poses, basically any type of pose you want. If you're a fan of the movies, you have to get this figure. I'm not even gonna like sugarcoat it or say, you know, if you want, but if you even like the movies a little bit, get this figure. You're gonna absolutely love it, and you're gonna regret not picking it up sooner. If you're a giant Pirates fan and need the artisan version, you can always track that one down. I know it's gonna be a little expensive, and I'm sure you know that as well if you know about artisan figures. But although I haven't owned an artisan yet, I've seen videos and stuff online about it, and it looks pretty good. The main thing with that artisan is the dreads, and then I believe it's a real fabric bandana, something like that. So a lot of work went into that one. So if you need that version, definitely track that one down. But at the least, try to get this deluxe one. If you have other Jack Sparrows and you don't think you want this base, you could get the standard, but just make sure you display him with the old base or some cool way. I would not recommend displaying him just standing there on a little hexagonal base. I think that's what the standard comes with. It looks like the standard does actually come with the wheel. It's just not the slanted base. So I guess it's not too bad. Because yeah, I had to look it up real quick, so I want to make sure I was getting my facts straight. It's not a hexagonal base, it's their diamond shaped one, so it is going to take up a lot of room, so be warned. But if you want that wheel and you want to save a little bit of money, I guess that's an option. But look how nice that base looks. A little translucentness of the water, and just, yeah, the one complaint with it is that since it's slanted, you kind of have to display him with his leg up. And of course, you might see that little bit of the leg poking through, which actually now I'm noticing he does have that, which I need to maneuver his coat to hide. If you're going to display him without the jacket, then you might be a little more concerned. But if you're going to display him with it, then you should be okay. But overall, this figure is amazing. I absolutely love it. It's going to look so good in my display. I'm hoping the base and everything fits where I want it to. And I will be doing some poses and stuff when Barbosa comes in, because that is another good looking figure. I made another video on my channel about that one if you are curious, so head on over and look for my 6 scale stuff playlist and find that video, and you can just see all the pictures and listen to me talk about it. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and definitely subscribe to the channel for more 6 scale stuff. Let's actually have a little discussion about this figure down in the comments. I'm curious your thoughts on it, if you own it, if you're getting it, if you just are gonna pass, or if you don't think it looks good at all. I definitely want to hear that. I want to have that conversation down there, so definitely tell me what you think about them. I'm looking forward to talking to you all again very soon, whether it's in the comments or more likely another video, especially if you subscribe. I would very much appreciate that. So until then though, make sure to stay 6 scale.